Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special report from the United States National High School Champions League starting 11 with the national sponsor representative, our very own Tim McEvoy, and the coach of the number one ranked Jesu Academy, Rachel Bursick, ladies and gentlemen. Pardon why we stand up and applaud. Okay. I hope that was okay for an intro.
Sounds great.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
All right, Tim, have at it.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And by the
Hey,
way,
Rach,
ladies and
thanks
gentlemen,
yeah.
the introduction for, usually we talk about select soccer at this point, but you are select soccer, so therefore have at it.
Okay, we can skip that this time and spend our time with Rachel. So, Rachel, thanks a lot for coming on. I appreciate you responding the other day, and we'll get through this. Try not. I know you're wearing a lot of hats. You got a lot of things to do, so I won't keep you. But just wanted to get you on because of your accomplishments and your team's accomplishments. Kevin went into a little bit. It's Rachel's give her some of her accolades here. She's the head varsity coach. Is this your fourth year? I know you were assistant before. Is this your fourth year?
Fifth year as head coach, my 12th overall.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and during that period of time, you won 3 state championships and also won the Champions League the 2 years of its existence. So that's pretty much quite an accomplishment, and had 2 of your players selected for the Virtuoso Award from Select each Champions League final game. So congratulations on all of your success there.
Thank you so much.
Just a little note, you come by this honestly, because your father passed down some of his soccer traits to you. He was a former outstanding player, University of Virginia in the St. Louis area, as you have grown up through the Bush Soccer Club, and then on to Jesu in your own right, correct? And then on to Iowa State and SIU, and played competitive collegiately.
Yes, I did.
All right, good.
Yep.
So I know at Jesu you wear many hats. You're assistant athletic director, head soccer coach, teacher. I know you're super busy. How do you get it all done?
I honestly don't know.
Well, it seems like it doesn't bother you.
Especially my parents help me out with my dog a lot. And I have great people that I work with who are always there to, step in if I need to take a break, or, I have great coworkers.
Well, that's important. It's critical. And pretty much in that vein, can you talk a little bit about, I know everybody talks about the players. Not enough credit is given to the coaches and the coaches themselves and their staff. Can you tell us a little bit about your staff and how they contribute and help you be so successful?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 2 assistant coaches. I have Nina Bono Murphy, and they're both grads, alums. So Nina is class of 05, and I'm class of 08. And what's actually funny about Nina is I was just a freshman in high school when she was a senior, and I was terrified of her and her friend group in the halls. And, they were all soccer players, and I was terrified of them as a freshman. So when we started working together, I told her, and she's like, "You're joking, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not joking. I really was, and I'm still slightly intimidated even to this day." But we've created a great, great bond, whether it's, in coaching, but also outside of coaching. She's got 4 fantastic girls, and I really don't know how she does it. I mean, I know I'm busy, but she's truly amazing with what she does. And then my other assistant coach is Emily Herbs Malone. She just recently got married in the fall. I actually coached and taught Emily. She's a class of 2016, so that was my second year teaching and coaching at Jesu. And
you're getting old.
I know, right? We created a pretty great rapport from when she was just a student, and we stayed in contact while she was in college, and we get together for a coffee or something when she was home on break. And she went into education, and she's one of our math teachers at Corazu. Also, don't know how she does that because math is way too intense for me. But I mean, immediately when I knew she was coming to Corazu, I said we need to have her on this staff because she's just incredible. She connects really well with the players in kind of that almost like a big sister role, but also still having that respect factor of like, I am your coach, I am your teacher. And it's kind of the way that I started back when she was a student. I was the younger coach around, so I just connected well with the girls. And, in my lower level teams, I have fantastic coaches there too. So Dave Gavain, who has, had an incredible coaching career at Vianney. He's been with Parkway South Boys as well, and he's been with Corazu 2 different times. So, he took teams to state finals back in the 90s. And, when I started coaching here at Corazu, Dave was my mentor, and I've learned a lot of great things from him. And then his assistant coach is another alum, Emily Bollinger, and she's class of 2012, so she was on the 2012 championship team at Corazu. And she's just a fantastic bright light that, that the girls really respond to really well. She's intense, but also so loving at the same time. And then at my lower level, I have my, I call her the other me. So Lydia Elking Novas, she is not an alum. We'll give her the break on that one, but she works at Corazu. So she's one of my other assistant AD. She also teaches PE, and she helps coach our freshman soccer team. And her husband, Nacho, has volunteered to coach the last 2 years. So I really have an awesome staff all around that support the program, not just the team. And I think that's something that Dave really started back, 12 years ago. And I definitely wanted to carry on as we keep moving on.
Wow.
Well, so far it's worked. You just need to keep it going. That's quite a support staff. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This is to get away from state, which I'm not trying to deflect the state accomplishments, but this is mainly about, our Champions League. And I want to get your thoughts on that. As it's our second year, you've won it both years. And I just wanted to get an idea from you, and Kevin will jump in here too, what your thoughts are in the Champions League. It looked to me, standing on the sidelines at these Champions games on your side of the field, that the girls really responded to it, and it meant a great deal to them. And it's, I think propelled them for state. So what are your thoughts on the Champions League, and what do you think the girls' thoughts are on it?
Yeah, we, the first year, it was we didn't know what to expect. Going into these games, we're like, oh, they're just regular games. Oh, yay, we won those games. We're moving on to the semifinals. Oh, we're playing St. Joe. That's a tough game. That's a big rival for us. That'd be really great to win. Well, once we finally got to the Champions League final, I think it really kicked in for the girls on that first year. Wait a minute, this is really cool. This is really exciting. They watched the boys go through it, the season before, and I think they were they felt similar, they weren't quite sure what to expect. And now that we won it the first time and we came back in the second round, the girls were very focused when we had these Champions League games. I'm not saying we weren't focused on our other league games, but
sure,
it definitely brought another level of competition, and they wanted to perform well because they wanted to move on. They wanted to get to the semifinals and hopefully the finals. And I think just as Champions League continues to build, it's going to keep feeling that way. And actually, it was about 2 weeks ago as we were preparing before the state quarterfinal game. I kind of overheard the girls talking at practice about, how, Misha classifies teams and puts teams in districts. And I said, well, girls, that's part of why Champions League was created, was just to kind of get a different experience and bring a Class 3 or Class 2 team competing against a Class 4 team. And that's exactly what happened in the final this year.
Yes,
We played
exactly.
a great team of Fort Zumwalt South, who just, won their state championship in the Champions League final. And it was like, this is why it was designed. It was right here, this competition.
Well said. Kevin?
Well, Rachel, unbelievable. I had to go through an extensive venting process with your former teammates and classmates, the Pendergast twins, Katie and Lori.
Oh.
So I passed the muster, but I watched you and the team over the last couple seasons, and it is something different about you all that I've never really seen before and always had hope to see. And so when the Champions League, we put it out there as a white sheet, you all, the Chargers, have made a masterpiece of what it should be like. You set a standard unbelievable. And I want to
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I want to applaud you for being so authentically team from front to back, side to side. You got a magnificent bench where everyone they take ownership of the game, and and the whole story about how you all bond, and somebody talked about, and I said it has to. You have had to purposely do something for you and the girls to connect at a certain time, that you have this ritual type of thing, or this mindset. Can you elaborate on that, or am I,
it really comes down to the girls and their bond, and I'll get to that, back to that in a second. But, as a player, I've been on teams that have been extremely talented, and we weren't always successful. We should have been, but we weren't successful. But we often played very individual. And I've also been on teams that, I had one of my former coaches, Rick Rash, back when I was playing on Bush Soccer Club. He designed the team first mentality. And that was one of the best experiences of my career, is being on, his team with some of my best friends. And I always have carried that, as I moved into my own college experience and moving into coaching. I always want to create that environment. Is it always going to happen? No. But once a team does buy into that concept of we respect everybody, whether they are playing, whether they are on the bench, whether they are just a freshman on the freshman team, we respect everyone in this program. And once you get a group to really buy in on that, I believe you're becoming more successful just based on your team camaraderie, not necessarily your skill level. We are blessed that we have the combination right now. We have the skill, but we also have the team bond. I mean, these girls, especially, starting back from the first state championship, it really came down to senior leadership. They're the ones that said, we want to go out with a great experience, so we're going to make that experience for our team. And every year, they've just continued to build into that. And again, I'm not saying we didn't have great team camaraderie. In previous years, there's just sometimes it just takes off and it just carries on even more. These girls, we actually going into the state final week, we were trying to figure out, how we were going to plan practices, what we were going to do at each practice. And I'm like, do we really need 4 practices? The coaches and we just kept saying that. Do we really need all 4 practices? Maybe we should do more of a fun day at practice. It's going to be hot. Maybe we'll just keep it short. Well, we get to practice while we're still debating this. for the next day. And the girls say, team pool party tomorrow. And I'm like, what? And they go, yeah, we planned a pool party after practice tomorrow. And I'm like, well, your lucky day. We're going to cancel practice tomorrow. You guys all have fun at the pool. You know? And their faces were just beyond lit up. And, you know, in our opinion, was they're going to get way more out of a team pool party than they are on the field.
Wow.
And it was definitely worth it.
It showed, Rachel, how it was unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Congratulations to you and your staff and team.
Thank you.
And the girls. Please pass it on that they are truly well certified.
There you go, Rachel. All the girls and yourself. Hey, Rachel, I won't keep you a lot longer, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you and talk to you a little bit about Maddie DiMaria, because this is a nationwide broadcast, and we all know how good she is, and you know, possibly one of the best female soccer players to come out of the St. Louis area, and one of the best in the country. And I want to say that she, not only is she a special player, but what I've watched in your 5 or 10 games sitting pretty close to you on the sideline there is she is obviously a total class. I've known her family, and I understand why she's like that too. And she's very respectful of the game, her teammates, and so on. But I also think that the coaches and the staff have a heck of a lot to do with that. So just kudos to you and your staff. And I know you have a well-rounded team, and it's not just about Maddie. She doesn't win the state championship by herself or the Champions League by herself. You have a great supporting cast. They're totally disciplined on the field. They're respectful of the game all the way from the front to the back. And that goes a long way towards how she plays. But I noticed that the biggest thing I noticed when I watch games over all these years is how, you know, just literally when someone scores a goal or assists on a goal, I see the interaction between your team when Maddie scores or Roz Doherty scores, or how they all converge to celebrate the goal or the assist or the great play out of the back that started, or the great save by the keeper. I credit you and your staff for that. I think that's very important, because she is a special player, but you have a special team, and you have a lot to do with that. So I just wanted to pass that along to you. Get your thoughts on Maddie. I think you've had her, and you know how special she is.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to talk about Maddie. I gave a speech about her at the Jack Buck Awards back in December. I got to introduce her, and it was a little scary because I'm staring at the St. Louis Blues owner and, you know, former Alexander Steen. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I even belong here? And absolutely not, but Maddie does. So I guess I'm going to talk about her. You know, she is just an incredibly humble teenager. And, you know, she's always going to have her teenage moments because she's 17 years old, as they all should. But the way she carries herself, she carries herself like an adult, you know, somebody that is truly respectful of her team, her family, the people who have helped her get there. And, you know, I don't think she will ever forget that either. You know, I don't see her moving in a different direction towards that. I think she's always going to stay that way. Two things that I think of right away is, you know, we probably had 6, if not 8 girls that scored their first career goals this year on the team.
Awesome.
And Maddie was the first one to literally jump on top of them. And that's just how she is. Whether she got the assist or not, she didn't care. She was so excited for them that they got to have that experience. And she's done that for the last 3 years. You know, she's the first one to jump on top of somebody. And I mean, you can't ask for anything more out of that. I mean, on Monday, just yesterday, we started, you know, I'm teaching summer school right now. And we had my assistant coach, Nina, is doing a little kids camp, so grades, 3rd through 5th. And unfortunately, they were inside because of the rain. Well, here comes Maddie walking down the hallway with a huge smile on her face. The girls are like, oh my gosh, it's Maddie. And she's, looking over the balcony, waving like, hey guys, I'll be down in a second, and blah, blah, blah. And she came over and she gave me a big hug. I'm like, hi, Matt, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at club? Because, we started club yesterday. She's like, well, we got something later today instead. So I came here instead. I'm like, you're never going to want to leave this place. She's like, no, not really. She goes, I have to, but I don't want to. And that's just a testament to who she is. And then my last thing about her is, this year was a challenge because she traveled a lot, whether it was for U.S. soccer club, some recruiting trips. She was very busy this past year, and it was definitely challenging academically for her to keep up. And one of the ways that we fix that, because also she's playing varsity basketball, and she's a very good basketball player as well. We would get here at school at 6:30 a.m. in order for her to catch up on tests.
Wow.
And I'm not saying every morning she was in a good mood, but it was a really great experience for her and I to just kind of chat about life. We didn't even chat about soccer. And, that's something I will always remember is obviously have to get up early in the morning. But I do it for any of my players. If they needed to catch up on school and they needed a time, 6:30 a.m. it is. And so, that's just another testament to who she is. She works really hard for what she has, succeeded in.
Well, I think that what you just said regarding her and the other girls in your team is kind of a sidebar here, but it's kind of a shout out to the high school program. And I'm not going to knock out the year-round get down on the programs that the clubs have for year-round soccer. But you can see, like your team, there's Maddie DiMaria. She could play year-round and not play for her high school, but you see what it means to her on the field, and you see what it means to the other girls who could probably do the same thing and play year-round for an MLS next team. And yet they chose high school because of the lifelong friendships and the intensity and the bond that's built that will last these people the rest of their lives, these young people.
Right.
They'll be talking about this in some restaurant or some reunion 30, 40 years from now, what happened in the soccer game. And I don't know if you get that all the time other than high school. So kudos to the high school program and you all for putting it together and keeping it going as well as it is. So anyway, Rach, we won't keep you.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, we're blessed here in St. Louis to have excellent competition all around. So we're very lucky here in the St. Louis area.
Give me a moment, please, Rachel. Is that you're the only person I know that has coached a undefeated, untied team ranked all year number 1 in the St. Louis, Missouri, and national rankings. Wow. Maybe Tim knows somebody, but I don't. You're the only one I know.
Nope. I agree.
I think it was an interview the other day. I said it was terrifying.
Yes,
it was extremely exciting, obviously, but underneath, I was terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh! And as we got into postseason, I was like, oh no, okay, we can do this. We can do this.
Yeah.
Because I was very terrified of that, and if somebody brought it up to me, I'm like, nope, please don't talk to me about it. And we're just gonna focus on each game one game at a time.
Wow. Well,
if you got through Whale certified, Rachel, you can do any one of them.
There you go. Take off some hats and relax for a couple hours or a day or two.
I'll try.
All right.
All right, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you.
I'll talk with you soon.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Go Chargers.
Go Chargers. Thank you.
All right.
Sure.
Well,
Wales, you still there?
am I still here? I tell you, I can't move. I'm in shock, man. Wow. I
Well, that's
just met a
good.
superstar. I just met a
She brought it.
Yeah, man.
Yes, she did. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. So I'm going to, like I wrap up my other ones, I'm going to wrap up with my pet peeve. And I'm going to isolate it to the parents. We need some of the parents on anywhere from the U7s all the way through high school to maybe tone it down a little bit on the sidelines. Let the coaches coach, let the players play. It's honestly the sport itself, soccer. It still has a very strong base volume of players, but there's a lot of players at a high level dropping out of the sport at an incredibly young age. They're quitting the sport in that 11, 12, and 13-year-old range, which should be a very strong period of time when they love the game and have fun. I'm not saying all the parents, it's a small percentage, but it affects everyone. So if they could just cut it back a little bit, you got volunteer referees out there, 11, 12-year-old kids refereeing. We know we want a older adult refereeing, but there's just so many referees to go around, and they abuse them. I'm out there on the fields. I was at a tryout this past week, 11-year-olds. There was 80 kids out there. I heard no less than 10 parents just berating their own kids about a drill they were doing. They thought they were doing it wrong. Odds are those parents never set foot on a soccer field. So they need to tone it back a little bit. It's having a bad reflection on the other parents and a bad reflection on a team. And believe me, you're only hurting your own son or daughter because the coach sees that, your son or daughter sees it. So for those select few that are making it bad for everybody, just maybe tone it down a little bit. So to the players and coaches, keep smiling and keep it on goal.
Woo! Woo! Man, is that a T-shirt coming out? Keep it on goal.
That's it.
All right then, baby. So there we
go. All right, Kev.
Yeah. So thank you, Tim. And select is a round ball, no square. It's not square, and it's the best ball in America, in the world. So here we go. Is that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a special report of the United States National High School Champions League starting 11 with Tim McEvoy and Kevin Whalen. See ya.